Hi everyone, I hope you are safe and healthy with your family and friends. In this video, we are going to learn about 11th Standard Accountancy, Chapter 8, Bank Reconciliation Statement, Exercise Sum number 5. From the following information, prepare Bank Reconciliation Statement as on 31st December 2017 to find out the balance as per the bank statement. Listen carefully. Based on the question, we will show up the balances of cash book and passbook. We have been given here bank overdraft as per the cash book, which means balance as per the cash book. You can understand that this question is based on the cash book. So balance as per the cash overdraft, bank overdraft as per the cash book means the business maintains the credit balances of the bank account. It is unfavorable balances. Okay, the cash book have the negative balance. The cash book have the credit balances. Okay, so we have to follow the opposite method. What is meant by opposite method? When we take passbook, if passbook increases, in opposite method the passbook will be decreased. If we take cash book, whenever cash book increases, in opposite method it will be the cash book will be decreased. That is called opposite method. Before we are going to enter the transactions into the bank reconciliation statement, we need to prepare the format of the bank reconciliation statement. So to write the bank reconciliation statement dated on 31st December 2017 as given in the question, and you know 3 columns are there: particular column, inner amount column and outer amount column, and you need to write the balances as per the question. That is, what is given in the question: balance overdraft as per cash book is rupees 20,000. So you have to write bank overdraft as per the cash book. 20,000 is to be entered in the outer amount column. We entered. Let's see the next transaction, that is checks deposited but not yet credited rupees for 4,000. Listen carefully. You received a check from the third party. Okay, so you means business. You received a check from the third party, and after received a check, immediately what you do? Immediately you record it in your cash book. Okay, so it will be recorded in the cash book. So after how much rupees check was received? 4,000 rupees. Okay, so your cash book will be immediately increased. 4,000 rupees increased in your cash book. Then only you went to bank. Your accountant, you run a business, then only your accountant went to bank and deposited that check into the bank. Okay, what happened to the bank? In the bank, the check was not credited, but not yet credited 4,000 rupees means that it will take 2 days or 3 days or 4 days, even a week, even a day, okay, to clear the check. To clear the check, it will take even a week. So the check was not credited. So what happened to your passbook, bank passbook? The check was not credited only. Your passbook 4,000 rupees decreased in your passbook. Okay, because the deposited check yet not credited, which means the check was not cleared. The check was not collected by the bank. So it was not credited in your passbook. So your passbook shows decreases, 4,000 rupees decreases. Now we are following the opposite method. What is opposite method? If passbook decreases, in opposite method it will be increased, right? So it will be increased means this transaction will be added. So in add column you have to write checks deposited but not yet credited, and 4,000 rupees is to be entered on inner amount column. Entered. The next transaction is issued check but not yet presented for payment ₹1,000. Say for example, if you run the business, okay, you issued the check to the third party or someone, okay. After issue the check, what you do? Issue the check means you made payment through check. Cash goes out, okay. Cash goes out through check. 1,000 rupees goes out through check, okay. So after issue the check, what you do? Immediately you record it in your cash book. What you record? In cash book on payment side, in bank column, 1,000 rupees decreased, 1,000 rupees subtracted because cash goes out through check. You paid cash through check. So your cash book will be decreased. Okay. Okay. Listen here. Checks issued but not yet presented for payment means that issued check not deposited into the bank on the same day. Listen, on the same day the check was not deposited in the bank, yet not presented for the payment means not deposited into the bank on the same day. So what happened in the passbook? So the passbook, the issued check was not presented means not deposited into bank. So passbook 1,000 rupees increased in your passbook. When the check was cleared only, your passbook decreased because you made payment through check. The check was cleared, then your passbook 1,000 rupees decreased in your passbook. But in opposite, what is happened here? On the same day, the check was not deposited into bank, so your passbook will be increased. Do you understand? Okay. So here we following the opposite method. Whenever passbook increases, in opposite method it is to be decreased. Okay. So this transaction will be subtracted. So listen, on list column you have to write check issued but not yet credited. 1,000 rupees will be entered into the inner amount column. We entered. The next transaction is rent collected by the bank as per the standing instruction ₹500. Listen, sometimes bank may be instructed to make payments such as insurance premium, installment of loans and collection of rent, etc. as an agent of the customer on behalf of its customer. In such a case, when bank collected the rent as per the instruction, bank collected the rent ₹500. Okay. So what happened? The bank, after collected the rent, the bank immediately recorded into the passbook. What is to be recorded? So collection of rent means you received the cash through bank. Okay. So bank received cash in the name of rent, right? So immediately in the passbook increased. Passbook will be increased. 500 rupees passbook will be 500 rupees increased in the passbook because as per the standing instruction bank collected the rent. So your bank passbook 500 rupees is increased in your bank passbook. Okay. So we are following the opposite method, right? So Whenever your passbook increases, in opposite it will be decreased. So this transaction will be subtracted. So on less column you have to write rent collected by bank 500 rupees is to be entered on the inner amount column. The next transaction is interest on overdraft debited by the bank 2000 rupees. So interest on overdraft means it is a cash deduction. Cash reduction according to the passbook, bank balance will be reduced. Okay. So bank provide you overdraft like loan. Okay. So for the overdraft, bank claims the interest on overdraft charged by the bank. So what happened to your passbook, bank passbook? In your bank passbook will be decreased because bank charged the interest on the overdraft. Are you clear? So debited means reduced, deducted, less, subtracted. Okay. What is meant by debited? Deducted, subtracted, reduced, like that. Okay. So bank overdraft debited means in your bank passbook will be reduced, decreased. So we are following the opposite method. So whenever bank passbook decreased or reduced, in opposite method it will be increased. So this transaction will be added. In add column you have to write interest on overdraft 2000 rupees is to be entered on the inner amount column. The next transaction is amount wrongly debited by bank 300 rupees. Amount wrongly debited by bank 300 rupees, which means by mistake 300 rupees decreased in your bank passbook. Do you understand? Bank wrongly debited means what? Deducted, reduced, okay, subtracted, less. Okay, so bank wrongly debited 300 rupees in your bank passbook. Okay, so what happened in your passbook? In your passbook 300 rupees deducted in your passbook. So in your passbook 300 rupees decreased. So in your bank statement shows 300 rupees debited, 300 rupees decreased in your bank statement. Okay, passbook means bank statement. So what about your cash book? Your cash book also will be, you have to do the same in your cash book. Your cash book also will be decreased, 300 rupees will be decreased because bank wrongly debited in the bank statement. In cash book also we do the same, we also do the wrong debited in your cash book. Then only bank reconciliation statement to show the same balance on both cash book and passbook. Okay, so cash book also shows the same wrong mistake. Okay, so what we do? We are following the opposite method. So cash book decreases, in opposite cash book will be increased. If cash book will be decreases, in opposite method cash book will be increased. So this transaction is to be added. In add column you have to write amount wrongly debited by bank and 300 rupees is to be entered on the inner amount column. We entered. And the next transaction is checks issued on 30th December 2017. Dishonored by the bank 5,000 rupees. Listen. For example, when you run the business, okay, you issued the check to the third party. You made payment through check to the third party. What you do after you issued the check, it will be recorded in your cash book. So your cash book will be decreased because you paid cash through check. Okay. So in your cash book payment side, bank column, you entered into the bank payment side on the bank column, which means cash book will be decreased. 5,000 rupees decreased in your cash book because you issued the check. Okay, immediately you recorded in your cash book. Then what happened? Then after that only, after recorded in your cash book only, you went to bank and what there? You only issued the check, okay. So listen here, on 30th December 2017, dishonored by the bank 5,000 rupees. Okay. So that check was not deposited into the bank. Listen here, after only that person, that respective person deposited that 5,000 rupees check into the bank. So you issued the check into the third party. Okay, that third party deposited that 5,000 check into the bank. Okay. So what happened in the bank? On due date, that check was dishonored because you didn't have sufficient balance, sufficient amount in your bank only, in your bank account only, that is issued check was dishonored. Are you understand? You issued check but you not maintain the sufficient balance in your bank account. So on due date, that deposited check was dishonored because in your bank account you have not maintained the sufficient amount. So that check was dishonored. So what you have recorded in your, what about the passbook? The bank passbook will be increased because you are not making the payment to the third party through check. Okay, you are not making the payment to the third party through check because you didn't have the sufficient amount in your bank. That only on due date that check was dishonored. So the check was not cleared. So the bank passbook will be increased. If the check passed only, if the check cleared only, the amount you making the payment, your amount decreased. But you are not making the payment on due date. You have the sufficient balance in your bank account only, that check was dishonored. So the bank passbook shows increased, 5,000 rupees increased in your bank passbook. We are following the opposite method. Whenever passbook increases, in opposite method it will be decreased. So in this transaction subtracted, this transaction will be subtracted. In less column you have to write checks issued but dishonored, 5,000 rupees is to be entered on the inner amount column. We entered. The next transaction is a customer's check deposited into the bank, dishonored bank not recorded in the cash book rupees 2000. Listen. From third party, you received a check, 2000 amount check you received from the third party. Okay. So what you do after received the check, immediately you record it in your passbook, right? So after 2000 rupees worth of check you received, your passbook will be increased. 2000 rupees increased in your passbook. On receipt side bank column, 2000 rupees entered in your cash book. Listen carefully. From the third party you received the check, 2000 value of check you received from the third party. Okay. After received the check, immediately you record it in your cash book. Okay. So 2000 rupees increased in your cash book. On cash book receipt side bank column, 2000 rupees entered, and then only you went to bank and deposited that 2000 rupees check into the bank. Okay. Listen. On due date, the bank has not a sufficient amount only. The check was dishonored. The check was not cleared. Okay. Because there is no sufficient balance in the bank account. The third party, when to whom you received the check, from third party or someone, okay, you received the check from the third party. After recorded in your cash book, you deposited that check into the bank. On due date, that third party has not maintained a sufficient sufficient amount in his bank account, so that check was dishonored. That deposited check was dishonored. So immediately the bank recorded in the passbook, your passbook will be decreased, because you can't get the money. Okay, your passbook will not credited because the check was not cleared. The check was dishonored only. Your passbook shows debited 5000 rupees decreased in your passbook. Are you clear? So we are following the opposite method. Okay. So if the passbook decreases, in opposite method it will be increased. So this transaction will be added. In add column you have to write check deposited but dishonored. Check deposited but dishonored. 2000 rupees is entered in the inner amount column. Okay. Now we need to find out the balance as per the overdraft of the bank statement. So for that we have to find out the total amount in the add column. That is, we have to add 4000 plus 2000 plus 300 plus 2000. We will get 8300. And the 8300 we have to enter in the outer amount column. Then we have to add 8300 with 20,000. We will get 28,300. 28,300 we entered in the outer column. Then let's take the sum of the subtracted column. That is 1000 plus 500 plus 5000. We will get 6500. That 6500 is to be entered in the outer amount column. We entered. Then we have to subtract 6,500 from the 28,300. We will get 21,800. So this is the overdraft as per the bank statement, 21,800. Do you have any doubt? Please comment it on the comment box. Thank you. Take care.